moment I saw you, I knew I had to make you mine. Wanted to know everything about you. I didn't want to waste no time. What's something I can do for you, darling?
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Eunice. Today's vlog is all about day 4 of my South Korea trip, and it was definitely one of the most exciting days because we visited some of Seoul's most iconic historical and cultural attractions. If you haven't seen my first 3 South Korea vlogs yet, make sure to check them out. I've linked them in the description box below so you can follow the entire journey from the beginning. So without further ado, let's get started. First stop, Changdeokgung Palace. Our first destination was Changdeokgung Palace. The palace grounds were absolutely massive. As we explored, I noticed so many little pathways, hidden corners, and beautiful spots that made me want to wander through every single one of them. Everywhere I looked, there was something worth stopping to admire. Walking around the palace really made me appreciate how peaceful and well-preserved everything is despite its rich history. What I loved most was how peaceful everything felt. Even though there were quite a number of visitors, there was still this calm and serene atmosphere that made it so easy to slow down and simply appreciate the surroundings. The traditional architecture, the colorful details on the buildings, and the towering trees all blended together beautifully. As I walked around, I couldn't help but imagine what life must have been like hundreds of years ago. Changdeokgung Palace wasn't just a beautiful place, it was actually one of the main royal palaces of the Joseon dynasty. For centuries, several kings ruled the kingdom from here, making important decisions that shaped Korea's history. There was where royal meetings were held, state affairs were discussed, foreign envoys were welcomed, and many significant ceremonies took place. It's amazing to think that the same paths we were walking on today were once walked by kings, queens, princesses, royal officials, scholars, palace guards, and countless court attendants going about their daily lives. One thing I found especially interesting is that unlike many palaces built with perfect symmetry, Changdeokgung was designed to follow the natural landscape. Instead of changing the land to fit the buildings, the palace was carefully built around the hills, trees, and natural terrain. I think that's one of the reasons it feels so peaceful and harmonious even today. Standing there, surrounded by centuries of history, made me appreciate how well South Korea has preserved its cultural heritage. Despite wars, modernization, and the passage of time, places like this continue to tell the stories of the people who once lived, ruled, and dreamt within these palace walls. As I continued walking around, I found myself paying attention to the smallest details, the intricate patterns painted on the wooden buildings, the stone pathways that have stood the test of time, and the peaceful courtyards that once witnessed centuries of history. It's incredible to think, really, that these structures have survived generations of change and still look so beautiful today. I also couldn't help but wonder what a normal day inside the palace looked like before. Just inside Changdeokgung Palace is the Huwon Secret Garden. This is the entrance to the Huwon Secret Garden. This place was even bigger than I expected. The garden was filled with serene ponds, traditional pavilions, towering trees, and quiet walking paths. As I was walking around, my imagination couldn't help but wonder. I even joked to myself that this would have been the perfect place for an emperor to secretly meet his favorite concubine, or maybe even a secret lover. Some parts of the garden looked incredibly romantic, especially the secluded areas overlooking the ponds. Of course, that's just my imagination, but honestly, if I were living in those times, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that actually happened. It's amazing to think that this garden has been here for more than 600 years. Imagine all the kings, queens, princes, and royal court officials who once walked this same path centuries ago. Standing here, it's hard to believe that this peaceful garden has existed for over 6 centuries. The trees have changed, the seasons have come and gone, but this place continues to preserve a piece of Korea's royal history. It almost feels like stepping into a different era. The secret garden was truly a secret. It was once known as the Forbidden Garden because only the king, the royal family, and a handful of trusted court officials were allowed to enter. Even high-ranking government officials couldn't simply walk in unless they had the king's permission. As I reached the ponds in the secret garden, I couldn't help but stop and admire how incredibly beautiful they were. The still water reflecting the trees, the elegant pavilions overlooking the pond, and the peaceful atmosphere made the whole place feel almost magical. It honestly looked like something straight out of a historical Korean drama. My imagination started to wander. I found myself wondering if moments of romance might have happened in a place as beautiful as this. This wood, as in, this wood was here years ago, and I'm touching these woods. This has been since hundreds and hundreds of years. Wow. Look at that. It's still as durable as ever. Whoa. Huwon was a very private space reserved for the king and the royal family. Queens, royal consorts or concubines, princesses, and other members of the royal household could spend time there. The garden was also used for royal banquets, poetry, music, scholarly discussions, and quiet relaxation. About secret love stories here, it's easy to imagine a king taking a quiet stroll with his queen, or perhaps spending a peaceful afternoon with one of his royal consorts, concubines, away from the formal ceremonies and responsibilities of palace life. It just feels so dreamy and intimate. Huwon Secret Garden was one of those places where time seemed to slow down, allowing you to simply enjoy the beauty around you. Whether you're a history lover or someone who just appreciates nature, Huwon is a place that gives you a sense of peace that's hard to describe. I'm really grateful I had the chance to experience it in person. With our hearts full of history and our feet tired from all the walking, it was finally time to recharge with a well-deserved lunch. Seeing the colorful bowl arrive at our table instantly made me even hungrier. Every bite of the bibimbap was so satisfying. Our next stop was Cheongwadae Sarangchae. One of my favorite parts here was watching a short artistic film that showcased South Korea's incredible journey from its early beginnings to becoming one of the world's leading developed countries today. It was inspiring to see how much the country has grown through the years. We also actually passed by the Blue House, which used to serve as the official residence of South Korea's president. Even though we only passed by, it was still interesting to finally see such a well-known landmark in person. We also visited the National Folk Museum, where we learned more about traditional Korean culture and the daily lives of Koreans throughout history. It's amazing how museums like this preserve so many stories and traditions for future generations. We saw beautifully preserved traditional Korean houses and learned how families lived centuries ago. It was fascinating to see how their homes were designed. We also admired the traditional clothing worn by people from different social classes. Each outfit has its own unique style, colors, and meaning, reflecting Korea's rich cultural heritage. Old writings, books, documents, and handwritten texts had been carefully preserved for generations, allowing us to appreciate how knowledge, education, and traditions were passed down over time. It was fascinating to see how Korean medicine has evolved over the years. I remember watching Jewel in the Palace, where traditional medicine played such an important role in the story. Seeing the actual medical tools, herbs, and historical displays here in the museum made everything feel so much more real. This chair was used to transport high-ranking officials. It's noticeable that the chair was small. Does this mean that the adult high-ranking officials could be this slender to fit into this chair? I could only imagine. It made me wonder how the officials were able to fit inside such a compact chair. Perhaps people back then generally had slimmer builds. These masks were for traditional performances, religious rituals, and other festivals and celebrations. This is a traditional wedding display. The bride traditionally moved into the groom's family home. Newly married couples often lived with the groom's parents, where the bride became part of her husband's household. Seeing these traditional wedding customs made me appreciate wearing a hanbok even more later that day. It wasn't just a beautiful outfit, it represented centuries of Korean history, culture, and tradition. For a moment, it was easy to imagine what a royal or noble wedding might have looked like hundreds of years ago. As our visit to the National Folk Museum came to an end, I left with a deeper appreciation for Korea's rich history and traditions. It was fascinating to see how their way of life has evolved through the centuries while preserving so much of their cultural heritage. Finally, one of the highlights of the entire trip, we went to Gyeongbokgung Palace, and this was the day we finally got to wear hanbok. I chose a beautiful light baby pink hanbok.
Got me up on a late night, you steady playing on my mind. Oh, I can't get you out my head. Got a feeling I can't fight. There's nothing left but it feels right. I'm feeling you and I won't pretend. I don't wanna say too much, I don't wanna say too much. I just wanna feel your touch. I wanna be closer, babe. I just wanna give you my love. I just wanna give you my love. I just wanna give you my love, my love. Ain't no doubt about it, babe. You should be mine. Through the sun and through the rain, I'll stay by your side. And when seasons change, my love will still remain.
It's funny because just before wearing hanbok, I pictured myself in a bright yellow one, something that reminded me of spring, sunshine, and fresh beginnings. After looking through at different combinations of skirts and tops, I finally found this pink set. I headed to Insadong Street right after and had dinner at Burger King. Then we explored the street in search of gold jewelry for my mom. I bought from Minigold. That wraps up day 4 of my South Korea adventure. Thank you so much for coming along with me. I hope you enjoyed exploring these beautiful places as much as I did. Please subscribe and keep on supporting. I'll see you guys in the next one.